What up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be installing a new clutch and flywheel by McLeod Racing. We'll also be installing a brand new rear main seal. Now the rear main seal isn't leaking, but since we're taking the time to take the transmission off, we might as well replace that seal just in case if it decides to leak, especially not knowing the mileage on that seal. It would suck if we put this brand new clutch and flywheel, take the transmission off and do all of that work, then put everything back together and then just 5,000 to 10,000 miles or whatever, and then it starts to leak and then we have to remove the transmission all over again. It's best to eliminate all the possibilities of failure from any parts that you see while you're in there doing that job. It's gonna save you so much time and money by doing so. So without further ado, let's get to it. Here are some of the tools that I used. We're just gonna go from left to right, top to bottom. First is a paint marker. Below that is a clutch pilot tool, and that should come with your clutch kit. Next is Teflon tape to help with a better seal with the fill and drain plug. To the right of that is a jack handle to help as leverage if you don't have a long enough breaker bar. Right below that we have our two pry bars that are about 16 and 24 inches. Right below that we have a set of swivels. First one on the left is a universal swivel that you can use on any socket. Then we have a 12 and 13 millimeter swivel. Next to that is a 10 millimeter deep socket that is 1/4 inch that we use just to remove the battery negative terminal. Then we have a 12 and 13 millimeter deep socket. Next to that we have a set of stubby 14 millimeter ratchet wrench. Then we have a 13 and 14 millimeter ratcheting wrench. And we have our long combination 14 and 17 millimeter wrenches. To the right of that, we have a 3/8 air impact gun and a 3/8 cordless impact. And below that, to the left, we have about 6 socket extensions and 3/8 of them, and 3 of them are about 8 inches long, and another one is about 12 inches or so. Right below that, we have our 3 ratchets and all different sizes of 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. And to the right of that, we have our air ratchet and adjustable wrench. So as you can see here, I put all of the socket extensions together to make up for not having my 24-inch socket extension. So I just used whatever I could to make it work now. Obviously, you're not going to want to do something like this, and it's always best to have the right tool for the right job. But since I forgot some tools at work, then I had to be creative and get the job done with what I had. So you're going to want to make sure you take out these 4 bolts to release this. 1, 2, 3, 4. This comes up. And then there's a bolt here and a nut. And you're going to want to take that out. But you're going to have to probably use something like a pry bar to pry it out because it will get stuck. And then once that, your trans should be ready to come out. There's a ground that's bolted to the bell housing of the transmission. Be sure to take that. So here we have a pry bar on this side. Notice the angle of the tip. See that? And then we have a screwdriver. See the angle on this? There's no angle, right? So this is used to unscrew flathead screwdrivers. And this is used to pry things apart. So here is a screwdriver. We want to separate this transmission from the engine. Although we can use a screwdriver to do so, we don't want to do that because this screwdriver is not intended for that kind of use. And it will bend or break. So that's why we use a pry bar. So here we have a pry bar. So this is what this is used for. So notice the gap, and it should get a little bit wider as I do this. It's kind of hard to do it with one hand and the camera in your other hand, but notice the gap here. It's getting a little bigger. So as you can see now, the gap is so much bigger, this transmission's ready to fall out of here. So just an example on how to use a pry bar. And just like that, the transmission is out with the pry bar, and we separated it like so. So just wanted to throw that in there for my student that asked me about what is the difference between a pry bar and a screwdriver. So now you know the difference. And as you can see right here, here's the downpipes and turbos. Just in case some people are wondering where the turbos are on the 300ZXs, they're right here under the engine. Super hard to see. They're nice and tucked in under here, but there's one right there going out to the downpipe and straight to the exhaust. So as you can see, it looks like it's starting to seep just a little bit. So we're gonna address that while we're here. So we got a brand new crank seal, rear main seal that's going in. All right, so we got the McLeod Racing flywheel, aluminum 1990 through 1996, 300ZX twin turbo. I'll check that out later. Then we have the clutch, same thing for twin turbo. And it's just the street clutch. So here I have clutch disc. And then there's a pressure plate. And then we have our rod bearing and pilot bearing and clutch alignment tool and some lubricant, high temp. Looks better than the OEM flywheel that is warped and has a bunch of hot spots, and this clutch that has seen a lot of abuse and pretty much worn out. You can see all the edges are pretty much worn. So there was some more hot spots on the pressure plate disc. So ready to change this out. All right, so already cut this open with a razor blade already. So let's check it out. Wow, this thing is beautiful. Look at that. It looks exactly like the Jim Wolf flywheel. It's got your little studs in here so you can mount your clutch pressure plate on and turbo lock. So you can lock your bolts in there when you put it on. Let's just do a comparison of the stock flywheel. Man, look at the difference of that. Crazy. Oh, this is much heavier. All right. So what's cool about this is that once this gets all worn and you're ready for your next clutch replacement, it's gonna look like this eventually. So the cool thing is with all these bolts right here, you're able to replace only just this piece and not the whole entire flywheel. So that's pretty cool. This is serviceable. So right here I took the hammer and a screwdriver to knock out one side of the rear main seal. Now I forgot to record putting the new rear main seal in, but once the old seal is out, be sure to clean around the affected area and reinstall the new seal. Once the new seal is installed, then you can install the new flywheel and clutch and then reinstall the transmission. Be sure to refill your transmission fluids and then start it up and listen for any funny noises. Then you can go ahead and test drive it. So, as you may know, there are multiple ways of installing a new clutch to your vehicle, but this is how I did it on my 300ZX that was originally a NA motor and converted to twin turbo. And hopefully this video was helpful. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.